So many of us are walking around like head up in our heads all the time, disconnected from our body. Most people have a dysregulated nervous system. And what I mean is, it's fine. Some anxiety, some stress, that's fine for our bodies, but it can't be a chronic thing that does a lot of damage. And so when we're walking around with an unregulated nervous system, if we don't have the capacity to feel our feelings, at least not in a healthy way, we suppress them and we're not really processing emotions and navigating through emotional situations in a way that allows us, our body, to actually process them. Because otherwise, if we're not processing emotions, if we're just suppressing them, that just gets stored on a cellular level in our body. It can cause all kinds of things, but it gets stored and takes up energy. That can cause chronic fatigue and all of that. And it just makes us tired without us even knowing it.
Welcome to the Asian Dating Podcast. I'm your host, May Bugenhagen. I am the founder of Two Asian Matchmakers, a boutique matchmaking company that started in Los Angeles, California, and now has spread all over the US. I help men who want to date Asian women. And my dating podcast here is really to help everybody who wants to date and who wants a little bit more clarity. And of course, my guest today, Ashley, is an intuitive life and business coach who supports women in living life on their terms. She specializes in guiding her clients from perfectionism, burnout, people pleasing, and self doubt to reconnecting with themselves, their confidence and intuition, and what they truly want in life and work so they can live life authentically and powerfully. I love it. I will put the rest of your bio in the show notes. Welcome to the show, Ashley. How are you?
I am good. Thank you, May. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes. I've known Ashley for many, many years, and I've been following her on Facebook. And it's so amazing that you are a coach for women out there because I work a lot with women who are super successful, want to find love. Sometimes they're, not sure what they want to do in life. So tell me a little bit about how you got started with your business and what made you become a life coach for women.
Yeah. So I have been a coach for a little over 3 years now, but before that, I was in a completely different industry and role. I was doing PR and communications for pharmaceutical companies for 15 years prior to that. And it was a great career, a traditional career where you climb the ladder. It was successful, promotions, it was great, and all the things. But I also worked a lot and didn't have a lot of time for myself outside of work. And there also just came a point, probably about 10 years in, so the last like 5 years of my career, where I was just burnt out. I was working all the time. I was overwhelmed. I was traveling a lot for work. I would come home and I was, dating my now husband at the time. And I would just want to like plop down on the couch and not do anything, try not to think about work. But of course, like always was thinking about work because something would seemed to always be going on. And as time wore on, and as those couple of years had passed, I just felt less and less fulfilled by what I was doing, and also started losing some of my confidence and like what I was doing and all of that, even though things were still going great, everything checked out on paper, but I just still like was like, there's got to be something more to life. There's got to be something more to working. There's got to be something, a way where I can do it, where I truly am excited about it and feel good about it. And with that, I hired a coach to help me figure out, like a life and career coach to help me figure out, like, okay, I know I don't want to be living like this anymore, but I also, we have a mortgage, we've got bills to pay, we've got things we need to like be, living life. I like to travel, etc. I know there are other people, especially women, who are feeling this way, want to be living life differently, want to be working differently, want to be doing something more fulfilling, but also just being able to live their life that has however they want to be living it, right? So that kind of kicked that off. Like I worked with my coach, and then it like I was like, this is the next step for me. I want to train to become a coach to help other people figure out whatever is next for them too.
What kind of clients come to you? Like, give me an example of the people that you've worked with, that you've helped.
Yeah. So lots of different examples, but one that comes to mind in particular, it's like she, similar to I was working, gosh, I want to say she said she was working like 60 hours a week or more on a regular basis in that, but she just couldn't like let it go because she always felt this need to be on, to be prepared for every like single thing. And she was like middle upper management and just always wanted to be doing a good job. And so she just felt like she always had to be working. But she also had a husband and a family in terms of like her extended family and all of that. And she wasn't really spending time with them because by the time she got home, she was either like just too tired to be like spent like have quality time. Those are some of the like things when people come to me. And then there's also like people are like, I want to do something more. I want to start my own business. I want to contribute in a way that I don't think I can contribute in the corporate world.
So you talked to me earlier off camera about your approach to helping women is more of a holistic approach. Now, what other areas do you help them out with once you
Yeah, I believe with everything and dating in particular, like your mindset and what you're believing about yourself is everything. And what I mean by that is like how we think about ourselves, how we perceive ourselves is going to have an impact on who we attract, who we detract, how we show up, what we do, what behaviors we have, how we're interacting in a relationship, all of that. And so when, if I'm working with a client who's like, I want to meet somebody and all of that, but then they're like, but I don't really believe like I bring a lot to the table, or I don't know if I can meet somebody, like who's going to date me. That's like, then we first have to go to work on like your what you're believing about yourself. Once we have, I want to let go of these beliefs about myself, I can see that they're not serving me, and then we start to envision like, okay, like what do I actually want to be believing, like kind of the opposite of what we the ones that aren't serving us, and envision like what do I actually want to be believing. Like I want to believe that it is possible for me to meet somebody and be in a healthy relationship and meet somebody who checks off these boxes, and that I am actually good enough, I have a lot to bring to the table. And so the kind of like affirmations, we start rewiring our brain in a way and repeating those things to ourselves, or have them up on post-it notes, or you know make it a point to like actually like feel into those and envision like, okay, these things are possible for me, and I can start to believe those. And the repetition helps with it, to start like over time to start actually like, okay, I am good enough. I do bring a lot to the table in a relationship. I can have a great I am a great communicator when I'm on dates. I can talk about have a lot about interesting things to say, whatever these things are. And then once we start doing that, we start also needing to like, our brain likes to find evidence. Usually it finds evidence for the opposite, like the negative things. But we start to like find evidence of like, okay, like what, like write down like what it is that I actually bring to the table. I'm a good cook. I my laugh is contagious. I like can talk about Super Nintendo for, I don't know, right? Like I know all the things, right? Like it just kind of depends on what it is, but start to actually like write those down and seek out evidence of how you are, whatever it is you want to start believing it about yourself, and how you, all the things that you do bring to a relationship, or your current relationship, whatever it may be. But really starting to work with your belief system and continuing to find evidence, or be opening to seeing the evidence that you are worthy of finding somebody. You deserve somebody just like everybody else deserves somebody, and that you have a lot to bring and contribute to whatever relationship, whether it's a friend or a date or whatever.
So,
So
are you saying that you make them write positive affirmations and post it everywhere and talk about it?
that hope typically happens over several coaching sessions. But as homework, yes, I will give my clients what, like writing down these affirmations, posting them everywhere, repeating them to yourself. But also the other important piece of that is finding evidence of how you all already are kind of that person that you want to become. Like
Okay.
there are, and you'll have to make your brain do the work, but I can guarantee you there are probably instances in your life that you can think through and look back and find like how freaking awesome you were in that moment, or whatever it is. Right. So that's just like one piece of homework that I give my clients after kind of digging into like what I was talking about earlier. Like, okay, where did this actually come from? Why do you actually believe this about yourself? let's like dig into that to really see, like, pressure test it, like, is it actually true? And sometimes it does feel really true, right? And that's when we just need to dig a little bit deeper and like see like, okay, it may feel true, but again, is it actually true? Do you absolutely know that this is true, that you don't deserve somebody or whatever? So yeah.
So let's talk about
Yeah.
what is nervous system regulation and why is it important in dating? What do you talk to your clients about?
Yeah, so nervous system regulation. I love it. Because one, it's something I've been very practicing and training on and learning more about over like the past year and a half, 2 years. And it is all of the mindset stuff that I teach my clients super important. But the nervous system regulation, when we have a regulated nervous system, which I'll go into in a little bit, like that, it just gets accelerated when you bring your body along, right? Like we're always, so many of us are walking around like head up in our heads all the time, disconnected from our body. Most people have a dysregulated nervous system. And what I mean is like it's fine, like some anxiety, some stress, like that's fine for our bodies, but it can't be a chronic thing that does a lot of damage to our body, all the things. And so when we're walking around with an unregulated nervous system, it basically means we don't have the capacity to feel our feelings, at least not in a healthy way. We suppress them and we're not really processing emotions and navigating through like emotional situations in a way that allows us, our body, to actually process them. Because otherwise, if we're not processing emotions, if we're just suppressing them, that just gets stored on a cellular level in our body. It can cause all kinds of things, but at a high level, it gets stored and takes up energy, right? And that can cause chronic fatigue and all of that, right? And it just makes us tired without us even knowing it. So, nervous system regulation is basically learning how to feel our feelings at the simplest level, because we're not ever really taught, and being able to navigate in a healthy way through intense situations, through emotional situations, and in a way where you feel good about or can process like how you reacted to it. But basically, being able to, and it's not being zen all the time. So I want to say that we're not like, the goal is not to be calm and zen all of the time. That's just, we're humans, right? That's not going to happen. But it is being able to have the capacity to feel all of our feelings and be okay with it, the good feelings and the bad feelings, because that's just a part of life and it's going to be able to happen. And so, nervous system regulation is really, more often than not, starting to bring ourselves more and more back to like a homeostasis, which is like kind of like a calm, grounded feeling. Because when we are feeling our feelings, that means we're connected to our body. When we're connected to our body, we're just more in tune with ourselves. We're more in flow. That's where our creative insights come from. That's where we're able to be authentically show up on a date and have like all of these like what seem like random conversations or random questions to ask, or just connect with somebody. The more and more where we have a regulated nervous system or are connected to our body, the more we're just in flow with ourselves and in flow with life. Again, that's when we're more creative, that's when we're more intuitive, that's when we have great ideas come to us, that's when we're connected to ourselves so we can be more connected to others. um, so that's what nervous system regulation is, and that's why it's important in dating, because the more in tune you are with yourself and your own body, and the more regulated you are, the more open you'll be, the more connected you'll be, the more authentic you'll be, the more creative you'll be, the more, that's, again, that's where like things for us to say or things for us to do just come to us out of nowhere without us having to like force it.
So
um
how do we
yeah.
how do we regulate that? How do we be accepting of that? Like what are some tricks that we could be more aware of how we're feeling?
Yeah, so for so many things, a couple, like some of the common things probably that people already know is your breath, right? Just taking, pausing, actually intentionally breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Like that, just that automatically, do that 3 times and that automatically connects you right back to your to yourself and being more aware, like, okay, I'm just gonna do this on a regular basis. The more and more you do that, the more connected you become to your body. So that's why breath and like breath work is really good, like actual like 20, 25, even 60-minute sessions of like a facilitated or guided breath work is really good. But outside of that, there are some tools that I teach my clients, and this is good for whether you're about to go on a date or whether you're about to walk into a big presentation at work or whatever, and to be able to safely feel your feelings. Like that's the first part of being able to feel your feelings is you've got to create safety in your body. And because we're so used to being like head up, we don't sometimes a lot of us or it's going to be we're going to resist it or it'll be hard or things will come up, we'll want to cry or whatever. We don't feel safe to actually slow down and be in our body. So orienting is a good thing to start with. And what I mean by orienting is just scanning the environment you're in, very just scanning up and down where you are and doing it very slowly. And as you do this, you'll notice one, your mind will probably be like, this is dumb. Why am I doing this? But I promise you just to keep doing it. But if you keep doing it, you'll notice that you may notice yourself like yawning or start or take a spontaneous deep breath. That's all signs that your nervous system is calming down.
Okay.
Um, you may want to linger on something that catches your eye, like do that. Just really let your body take the lead, but you're going to just scan one side of the room very slowly, and then you're going to scan the other side of the room very slowly. And you may have to do it a couple of times, but again, it's like something that literally you can do in like 60 seconds, and it just starts to bring us back into our body, tells our body that it's safe to slow down.
So are you saying if I walk into a room and I already feel my heart pounding or I'm a little nervous, are you saying that just take a step back and just be in the room and just absorb it first before you just go in and start talking to people? Just
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
And we can do it without anybody even noticing that we're
Yeah.
doing it, right?
Right.
Like it's kind of like one of those things where we can nobody has to know really what we're doing.
Yeah. So, knowing what you know and being in this coaching space for many years now and working with women clients and having a holistic approach with them, what would you say are some things that you can help them regarding dating? Like for them to start looking for somebody, do they have to have their ducks in a row first?
We need to dig in there and be like, okay, like what do you need to believe about yourself for you to show up like as yourself, as authentic as yourself, for you to actually attract and meet the type of person that you want to actually be talking to and be with. And as well as like, what values do you have in terms of like, I don't want to hear just about the guy, but like, what lifestyle do you want to be living? What values do you have? What's important to you? Like, let's figure that out about yourself before we dive into that. And some of the clients who come to me are already like know some of that stuff. I mean, it's cool. Like, let's go practice and get you out there.
I'm sure you have a lot of success stories, and what you're doing now is probably 10 times more fulfilling than what you were doing in the corporate world, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So much more so. Like I said, like my corporate career served its purpose and served its time, but like yeah, being able to work directly with people and in this way, in this deep way, and like you said, like all of the things that you just said were exactly true, right? And being able to help them figure something out where we don't know to ask ourselves and we weren't taught it by no fault of anybody around us, no by no fault of our parents. They didn't like again, we're just going through life and like just living. And so are our parents and their parents and beyond, but and so are our friends, right? And but having somebody to ask you questions that you won't probably ever know to even ask yourself and to do that and then to see like how impactful it is for my clients, like so rewarding, so
Yeah.
fulfilling, so cool because it's just I believe in like the ripple out effect. The more and more that we're in tune with ourselves, the more and more we know how we want to live, who we are, what we want to be doing, the more and more that like inspires other people and starts to change their lives and their lives and their lives. And then the more and more we're resourced or the more and more we're just in tune with ourselves, we're able to help others do that. And it again, I Like, obviously I'm biased, but like I think like this stuff changes the world, right? For the better as it ripples out more and more and more. So yes, it's so fulfilling, so rewarding.
So, Ashley, before I let you go, what is your ideal client? Who are you looking to reach out to you, and who do you want to serve? And I'll put all of your contact information in the show notes. But any last minute advice or comments, please share with us.
Yeah. So, answer your first question first. So, I love working with women who are business owners, leaders, or high achievers, and really know that they're meant for something more and want to be able to go after it and have confidence in themselves to do it. Whether that's starting their business, whether that's changing careers, whether that's going bigger in their business, whatever that looks like for them, but or again, like just want to live a life that feels really rewarding and truly authentic to them. I love helping women figure that out for themselves. And so if that's you, come come talk to me. We'll have a call and we'll see if we're a good fit and then we'll go from there. Right. So that's who I am passionate about helping. And in terms of any like last minute advice, really like just starting to know that one, we are so much more powerful than we think we are. And once we start like just being more aware of that and what's possible and knowing that we deserve like all of the things that we want, everything that we want on our heart, I truly believe is like a sign from the universe, God, whoever your higher being is. Like if that desire is on your heart, that's meant for your path to go down. And it's possible for you. So just know that and continue like use all the tools that I talked about earlier, mindset, nervous system, because those things will just help you get closer. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Ashley DelBello. Did I say that right?
you did.
Okay.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I so appreciate you joining me on the Asian Dating Podcast today. And if there are ladies out there, I would love for you to join my database at twoasianmatchmakers.com. Fill out a profile because I can't set you up if I can't find you. So be a part of my Rolodex of great women, and I will set you up with a great guy if you're a match. So if you are 80% match of this guy, then I will set you up. Thank you, Ashley, for joining me today. And please subscribe, like this video. I would love any comments you have or any questions you have, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, Ashley.